Okay, let's take a look here at this next worksheet. And this time we're looking at growth again. We're seeing an increasing pattern. Again, it starts at the beginning and then goes on to 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minutes. But this time we're noticing something different. Instead of adding something each time, let's look at how we might be increasing. So if I start with these initial 3 dots at the beginning, and then notice that these initial 3 dots end up doubling. And then likewise, we can see that these initials, now that there were 2, also end up doubling, and so on and so forth. These 4 end up doubling, and then these 8 end up doubling. So again, showing that work on the pattern where you can tell me how you see it growing. So at the beginning to step 1 at 1 minute, we're noticing that times 2 jump. Same thing here at times 2, same for the next, and same for the next. Now before we did a horizontal table, this time I'm going to demonstrate how we could write it vertically as well. Doesn't matter how we write the table. So we've got our time in minutes, and we've also got the number of dots. So when it says at the beginning, we know that that starts at a time 0. There were 3 dots. At 1 minute, there were 6 dots. At 2 minutes, there were 12 dots. At 3 minutes, there are 24. And at 4 minutes, there are 48. So you could have gone through and counted each of these and marked it on there as well. So describing and labeling the pattern that you see, since we noticed that this was doubling or times 2 with each step, we would say at the beginning, there were 3 dots. And the pattern doubled. Each minute. And again, this can be in your own words, something talking about how many there were at the beginning, what's happening repeatedly with each step. Describing that pattern. So assuming the sequence continues in the same way, how many dots would there be at 5 minutes? So notice we don't have 5 minutes on the table. So at 5 minutes, there would be, what do you think? Good, 96 dots. Because we take the 48 and double it. From the step before. Okay, so now we're going to go write a recursive, and again it's telling us to use t minutes. So it's telling us right here we want to use a variable of t. So we say f of 0 equaled 3. That comes from the top of the table, right? At time 0 there were 3 dots. And then f of t is equal to f of t minus 1 times 2. The pattern comes right there at the end of the recursive. And then f of t equals begins with 3 dots multiplying by 2 every time to the power of t minus times 0, or you can just do a t. Why is it an exponent in this explicit? Because of the repeated multiplication of the pattern. Now it asks for a table, which we actually already have up there, so let's kind of go copy it down. And we started at 3, and then it doubled. 192. Okay. And then the side work of showing the times 2. And that's called our common ratio, or our multiplier. Okay, so doing our graph, we've got to label the x-axis down here at the bottom. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and down here is the number of minutes. And then going up the side, we need to get up high. We need to get up to like at least 96 or 192. So if I counted by threes, let's go count how many there are. I just made 5 lines, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. It only gets up to 35. So what if I counted by sixes? And so if each of these lines is 6, so it goes 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So these lines now represent 30, so it goes 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. I like that better going by sixes. It means when we do the 0, 3, we're going to be going halfway on a line here. That's okay. Let's go put a dot. At 0, 3, it's going to be right here in the middle, way down here, like in the middle of that square. 0, 3. And then 1, 6. And then 2, 12. And then 3, 24. So this one right here is 30. And then 4, 48. So this one's 60. So 36, 42, 48. And then 5, 96. So this would be 90. So the next line would be 96. And then 192. Let's see if we get that high. 186. 192. We made it. So counting by sixes, I was able to get up there. If you counted by threes and you only got up to like the 24 line, that would still work, but I'd like you to try to fit as many of the data points as possible on the graph. And over here, I forgot to write number of dots. So don't forget that. Notice that this graph is discrete because we're just talking about a pattern or a sequence. We do not connect. Okay, how'd you do on that page?